Hello and welcome to Empower Hour Topic Sessions. I'm Amy Lee Miller, and today I'm going to talk about one thing you want to stop doing in order to achieve your goals faster. I'm very big on goal achievement and, of course, achieving more with less effort. So, one way that you can do that, if you find that you are in the habit of comparing yourself to others. That's something you want to stop doing. It is a natural tendency, it's human nature. I hear and see this a lot in professionals in their 40s, 50s, and even their 60s. And of course, this is a tendency that we naturally do as kids. We compare ourselves to others, but it is one thing that will definitely hold you back. So I'm going to talk about why that is, and then three different things that you can do to shift your perspective around this challenge to help you overcome it and change the habit if it is, in fact, a habit for you. So, first, why is it important? I'm very big on the why. For me, if I don't understand, why something is important, then I'm probably not going to take action on it. So here's the thing. If you sometimes find yourself comparing yourself to others, one thing you want to pay attention to how it's making you feel. It's probably not making you feel very good. So this habit, this tendency makes us feel bad, and that's going to do the opposite of what we want with our mindset. We want to be working toward our goals with an elevated mindset. You want to keep yourself feeling good about yourself. So if you're comparing yourself to others, it's probably not making you feel very good. And of course, that's not a good thing. So that's one reason. But the other reason is anytime you are shifting, or let's say dividing your focus. If you're focusing on what she's doing and what he's doing and what she's doing and what he's doing, you are working with a distracted focus. And of course, when we narrow our focus, we get a lot more done with less effort. And if you have bigger goals that you are working toward, you want to be working with a narrowed, really honed in focus. So that's the reason why you want to stop comparing yourself to others if it's something that you notice that you're doing. And here's the how. I'm going to talk about three ways that we can change this, change our perspective around this tendency, if it is one for you. So the first one I already kind of mentioned, and that is you want to pay attention to your emotions. How is it making you feel when you find yourself comparing yourself to somebody else? If it's making you feel bad, guess what? You have the power to shift your focus, which is basically a superpower, because where we focus is where we go. Some people say where the mind goes, the body follows. Others say what we focus on expands. It's all true, and it's all the different ways of saying the same thing. But guess what? You have the power to control what you are focusing on, and that's true self empowerment. I'll give you an example. When I was a teenager, we would get the fashion magazines or whatever, and I noticed that I started to feel bad about myself because I was looking at these supermodels all the time. So even back then, when I was so much younger, I probably didn't think about it in terms of shifting my focus, but I did make a conscious decision to say, you know what, this is not making me feel good, so I'll just not do it anymore. So when something is making you feel bad, you can just shift your focus. So if you notice that you're focusing on other people and what they're doing, and you don't like how it's making you feel, shift your focus back to yourself and your goals. And if you aren't yet sure what that bigger goal is, what that purpose is, or whatever that you're working toward, when you shift your focus back to yourself, what lights you up, what drives you, what makes you feel really good when you're doing that thing, well, you're going to discover your goal sooner than later. So definitely faster if you're focusing on yourself versus focusing on others. So that's one thing. And then the second thing you want to do is get really, really honest with yourself, because I bet you 98, 95, at least 90% of the time, when we find ourselves admiring others, if we're being honest with ourselves for their achievements, do we really want that path that we're on? What they're doing, that's great for them, but would it be great for us? Would you really enjoy being on that path that they're on? Not everything is for everyone. So most of the time, you wouldn't even want to be doing that thing that they're doing. Like maybe you admire somebody that is in a leadership role in your industry, but if you're being really honest with yourself, is that even what you want? I've had this exact conversation with a professional before, and I'll give you an example from my personal life too. Sometimes it takes me a while to try new things, but one time, well, years back, I decided that I actually wanted to try stand-up comedy. So I like speaking, obviously. I'm a writer. I have a couple books, and I've also written some screenplays and some television shows, and those are on hold for next career. But I like writing. I like making people laugh, through stories, and also just the whole spectrum of human emotion. Anyway, going on a tangent there. But I decided I went to a comedy show, and they had a sign there that they offered comedy writing classes. And I thought, I want to try that. It took me 2 years, but 2 years later, I did decide, okay, it's time. I'm going to try stand-up comedy. So I took a couple classes, and then I started doing it. And 2 years in, I realized you're not really putting much effort into this. So what would happen if you actually put some effort in? So then for my last 3 years, I really put the time in, did lots of open mics, and I improved a lot. I got invited to be on a lot of shows, and I got funnier. I progressed in this one contest that I did. But here's the thing, I was putting so much energy in order to improve, and I did. But if I was being honest with myself, I would have, and I did. Soon I got really honest with myself, and I said, you know what? This is not your path. I'm not a late night person. I don't like to travel that much. I don't want to be in the comedy clubs late. I met a lot of great people, and I had fun. And I think I'll use the tools later for sure. But I had to, in getting honest with myself, I very quickly realized this is not, for me. But I did have the comparing myself moment, because I said, I'm someone that doesn't like to give up. I really hate giving up. And perseverance is a great quality, but just like our bad qualities can sometimes hold us back, our good qualities can sometimes hold us back, because if we're persevering in the wrong direction, that's holding us back. That wasn't the path for me. But I had a moment where I was really struggling with giving up, because I knew that I was going to see others continue on and do really well. And but I had to just get really honest with myself. Okay, that's great for them, but is this what you want? And I decided it wasn't. And I quickly found a much better use of that extra 20 hours of my week that I was spending doing comedy to do something else. One example was the books that I wrote. But anyway, it did happen, that moment that I thought would happen, where I'm walking down the street and I see this big billboard of somebody that I used to do comedy with, who now has his own HBO special. And, you have the little twinge of comparing yourself, but I was really happy for him. His name is Ian Lara, actually. And stay tuned for, he's kind enough to take some time out of his busy schedule to guest star on my podcast coming up. So we'll be speaking with Ian Lara on the Unleashed podcast coming up soon. So I'll keep you guys posted for that. But anyway, we want to get really honest with ourselves about, is that the path that I really want for me? So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, what is the third thing? Oh, how you can change your perspective around other people's success is get excited for them and about their success, especially if it is in an area that 2 or 5% of the time where it is actually something that you want to excel in, that you want to accomplish. So here's why, because you can actually get ideas and some of your own momentum going for your own ideas in watching others' success. And if you know them personally, you can even reach out to them and say, hey, I've been following your career, or I see what you did here, and I think it's great. And I actually am interested in doing the same thing or something similar. And I would love to pick your brain and learn, how you do what you do. Or you can say, hey, I've got an idea too. I'd love to share it with you, and just get your feedback. That conversation, that interaction is going to spark some momentum and some of your own ideas to help you go further faster on your own path for your personal success. So just recapping really quickly, one thing you want to stop doing in order to help you progress faster on your path, achieve your goals faster, achieve more with less effort, is stop comparing yourself to others. So again, it is a natural tendency. Don't beat yourself up if you find that you are doing that. I think one thing, I don't think I mentioned this before, but actually I do talk about this a lot, but it is worth a reminder and locking in, working to lock this concept in yourself until you believe it. So think about it every day. Maybe you write it down. Awareness creates change. Awareness is the first step in overcoming any challenge and in achieving any goal. So, the beautiful thing about whenever you happen to notice, I have this habit that I want to change, I have this tendency that's not very good for me, rather than feeling bad about yourself for that, instead get excited and tell yourself good job, because when you become aware of something that you want to change, it's already in motion. So awareness creates change. So don't beat yourself up if you happen to be one of the many, many of us out there who sometimes compares ourselves, to others. Just become aware. And so, one, you want to pay attention to how it's making you feel. And if it's not making you feel good, remember that you have the power to shift your focus. Focus instead on something that does make you feel good. And two, you want to. I forgot the second one. Well, the third one is get curious. You want to get curious. Oh, celebrate. You want to celebrate, get excited about their success, and get curious. You want to shift your perspective around it. How did I forget the second one? Maybe I have a comment when somebody told me the second one. Let's see. Thank you, Ken Russell. If I ever get bored with my current profession, I should start my own ASMR channel on YouTube. Oh, thank you. I'll have to check out what ASMR is. Thank you, Ken Russell. I actually do have a YouTube channel, so this will be on there, but I will check that out. And thank you for the compliment on my voice. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. I can't even read my notes here. So you want to get curious. Oh, you want to get honest. I'm really big on honesty. When we're not honest, the best way to help ourselves and others is to be honest. That's actually the only way we can help ourselves and help others. So, if you're comparing yourself to somebody else, it's completely unnecessary, because their achievements are there for them on their own path, and you wouldn't even be happy or maybe want to be doing what they're doing on their path. So get super honest with yourself. And then then I mentioned the celebrate their success, get curious, see if you can have a conversation, connect with them. Or, if it's somebody famous that you're following, get inspired, by watching what they're doing. So that is it for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions for me, comments, I would love to hear something that you're personally struggling with. If you want to reach out and see if I have anything to offer there, happy to. And I think next week I'm going to talk about how to achieve more with less effort by following the golden rule. So stay tuned for that. Have a great evening, and I will see you guys soon.